say no to RuPaul as Tennessee sets to become first U.S. state to ban drag.
Take a look. My concern with this is the breadth of the language, Mr. Sponsor. And the breadth of this language takes direct aim at the local economy of my city. It takes direct aim at the entertainers within my city. It takes direct aim with the small businesses in my community. And so the language of this bill, now, I don't know if you've ever attended a Beyonce concert. Something tells me you haven't. Or a Harry Styles concert, or a Lizzo concert, or a Madonna concert. Your language prohibiting and the breadth, the vagueness in this bill would prohibit those entertainers from performing in my city. It would prohibit Beyonce, the Queen Bee herself, who is coming to Nashville this year. This bill would allow me as a district attorney, by the plain language of this bill, to arrest Beyonce. Is that your intended goal here?
Tennessee lawmakers passed a bill banning drag shows in public on Thursday, sending the measure to the Republican Governor Bill Lee's desk. In Tennessee's bill, a first offense would be treated as a misdemeanor, but a second offense would be treated as a felony. The law would make Tennessee the first state to ban public drag, which could also affect LGBTQ+ pride celebrations and transgender people who are in shows of any kind. Currently, 20 bills in 15 U.S. states are aimed at drag queen performances. In past years, bills in other states that targeted transgender people prompted strong negative reactions from business leaders, out of concern that discriminatory legislation would make it more difficult to woo clients, talent, and corporate relocations. It's well documented in the economic literature that discrimination against LGBTQ+ people damages their economic, physical, and mental well-being. Additionally, discriminatory bills like the one in Tennessee can lower a nation's GDP. Aaron Reed, a queer legislative researcher and transgender rights activist, said, quote, "The language of the bill is very broad and doesn't differentiate between trans people and drag performers. Drag queen story hours will no longer be rushed by Proud Boys, but cops," end quote. Distract, distract, distract. Distract from Tennessee's embarrassing literacy rate. Distract from the state's poverty rate, which is 6.25% higher than the average in the U.S. Distract from the state's teen pregnancy rate, where it ranks 10th highest. Just keep distracting.
Good comments.
You know what concerns me about this bill is the way that we're attacking this bill. They're like, oh, it's so broadly written. Well, how broad it is, even if it was narrow, it would still be vile and offensive. And this is not going to be a winning argument as we move across the states to try and move it. We have got to come up with better arguments than, oh, it's too broad. Like, we need to more narrowly discriminate. Like, if they've got mascara on but no eyeliner, then they're fine. This is just not a winning argument or a way to attack this bill.
Francie, you were talking about in Japan about the business community coming together to, to help forward LGBTQ rights. In Tennessee, we have FedEx, we have HCA, Dollar General, the entire country music industry in Tennessee. Again, where are these organizations where, I hope that the HRC is going out, which galvanizes corporations. And GLAAD to speak out against this. I don't hear enough. And again, we know that we know what's happened here.
Right.
We know what's happened here in Disney, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't still press these companies that we all do business with of saying, what are you doing in the state where you're organized for business? Because you know what? There are other states where FedEx can move their headquarters. There are other states that HCA can move their headquarters. They don't need to be in Tennessee. So what are they doing? And I challenge them to ask those questions.
Yeah, if we think about what the representative was saying, and we take RuPaul at her word, we're all born naked and the rest is drag, right? Yeah. This is technically drag. So if I were to give a lecture out in Tennessee, would this count? Would I be first offense misdemeanor, second offense felony? So I think it's so dangerous and so problematic because drag is anything that is not being naked.
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely.
And that it's incredibly problematic. I could be a felon, literally, for wearing what I'm wearing.
You know, the bottom line of what we're watching in Tennessee, there's every indication the governor is going to sign this law. What we're watching in Tennessee is not an issue of grooming. It is not an issue of children. It is not. It is on the issue of gender identity. The radical voice of the GOP, especially driven by evangelicals, are wanting to have a universal definition of this is a man, there is no exception. This is a woman, there is no exception. Trans is at the tip of the sword of their attack. But drag is beginning to evolve into a secondary argument for them because they think it's a winning issue in terms of this protect the children and protect parents' rights. Well, wait, parents are bringing their children to a drag show. So whose parental rights are you protecting? That does not seem to matter. What they're pursuing is the idea that anything that modifies the gender identification of traditional male at birth, traditional female at birth is bad, is wrong. And as a result, that's why you get such ridiculous legislation of this that is very likely going to be, it's passed in the legislature and likely going to be signed by the governor. The issue is not why they're doing it, that's why they're doing it. But the issue is what is the LGBTQ community going to do about it? What are business community going to do about it? What is the tourism community going to do about it? Let me tell you for sure, one thing that hits Tennessee between the eyes, it's the reason why North Carolina's completely backed off of their bathroom bill. Sports teams, businesses, conventions, the tourism industry of the world said, we're not coming back to Charlotte. And it killed the bathroom bill. In this, it's even worse than that because the issues in Tennessee, their number one industry in the Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge Valley, in Memphis to a secondary bit, in a secondary way, but for sure in Nashville, which is a blue island like Fort Lauderdale, their number one industry is not music, it's tourism. Their number two industry is music, which generally, even in country music, is progressive. They're taking gigantic risk of the backlash that's going to be focused on national attention as this digests into American society, in America's psyche. And good riddance to you, Tennessee, if you foolishly pursue this. Because certainly California, and certainly New York, and then progressive business thinking around the country, right? Mississippi's not going to come to our aid, and Alabama's not going to come to our aid, but there are plenty of places where tourism decision-making is made in other places that say, Tennessee is a hot potato and we take it off the table. And you're going to lose millions of dollars because you want to define whether you're a male or a female because of the clothing you wear. Good luck to you, Tennessee. You're in for a world of hurt. LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out television network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.